Okay, hello, this is Ernie Sandham. So we're just going to have a look at a 1D blend space. So if we go over to our blueprint folder, this is from a short video made by Alex to talk us through how to make a 1D blend space. So that's character blueprint. So we want to just set up in the maps and modes that we are going to the correct model when we start the level, so it defaults to the correct model. You might have to extend that little arrow out to get access to that. So if we go into the blend space, we're just going to basically add, we want to make sure we've got the settings correct first, so turn off use controller rotation yaw, scroll down a bit. So max walk speed, just increasing that a bit, and so yeah, I want to turn both of those on. I think no, we want to turn one of them on. Okay, so so we want to bring in our mesh so that we actually have a if we actually have a character in there. So that's just brought the character in. Let's just align it inside the collision capsule. And so we're just rotating it here so that it's the alignment is correct, so that when we start moving the character it'll go in the right direction. So the other thing we want to do is we want to add a camera, because it's a third person controller, so we want the camera to be floating behind the character. So if we just adjust the settings as Alex is doing now, and we need to add a camera attached onto the spring arm. So let's just stick that in there like so. And we want to just make sure that's about the right height, so we will just compile that, and then I think we'll have a look at how that looks in the game. So we want to make a animation blueprint for the character. So again, we're just using the T-pose skeleton, which is the wee blue man that you can see down there, that's come directly out of Mixamo. So if we go to the animation event graph, or not the viewport, so we just need to make sure that the skeletal mesh is the character again, and what we will do is we will just go, so we're actually going to our original existing third person character that comes with Unreal here. This is not the one we're building ourselves. So this is actually the default third person character. So what Alex has done is he's just copied out the blueprints, naughty boy, and he's just pasting them in here. So I think he's probably going to just delete out some of the stuff we don't need. So if we look here, we can't compile this because we need to add in a couple of variables. So we need to make a base turn rate and a base lookup rate variable, which doesn't currently exist within our blueprint for our new character. So really what we're doing is we're just trying to replicate the variables that exist on the default third person Unreal character so we can compile it. So these are both floats, and this is to do with when you're moving your mouse. I believe that it will tell you which direction. It's just adding a rate for the character movement, so we can see now as we move with our mouse, and we can slide the character around, so it is actually moving using the inputs as previously set up. So all we've done is we've basically just copied a template from the existing Unreal third person blueprint. So what we want to do now is we've gone to the existing third person animation blueprint, and what we're going to do is we're going to copy that event graph because we're naughty, and then I've got a feeling we're going to paste it. This is the this is our character and this is the event graph, so we just pasted that in. So again, we're going to have a couple of issues here. We need we're going to have to make a variable which I believe okay, so the variable is called speed. Oh yeah, sorry, okay, so I can just see it down there in the set. So setting the speed variable down there in the section of the blueprint that says setting speed. So again, that that variable didn't exist in our animation blueprint, so we've just had to make that to kind of replicate what's happening in the default Unreal third person blueprint, if you get where I'm coming from, man. So I think now we'll probably set up a BlendSpace. So it's a state machine. Okay, so state machine will basically organises what happens when with the inputs, so that it will decide which direction and which speed and what the character does. So we are now setting up a BlendSpace in the state machine. So idle, walk and run, double click on that. Okay, so don't double click on that. Yeah, so we've got, it's a 1D BlendSpace here. So I think so in the case of a 1D BlendSpace, as we'll see in a minute, well, I'll just wait until we see. So we've really just got one axis on the graph, so it's the horizontal axis. So that I think is going to be speed. And so what's really happening here is that graph in the bottom middle is going to tell us at what speed the character moves into different animations. So when he's at speed 0, he's idling. When he's at the mid speed, which is, well, that's probably about 200, he's walking, and then at 800 he's running. So if we remember, 800 is the value that we had in the speed settings on when we initially set up our character. We set the max speed at 800, which is why we've replicated that into BlendSpace. So let's just have a look. Bringing the BlendSpace in. Right, so we're getting the speed variable, which is basically fed in from our inputs, so that when we're pressing an input, the speed will increase to a maximum, and then he runs. Okay, so I think that's just about it. Happy days.